When I create these videos, my purpose is to provide you with resources and information so that you can gain knowledge as you move forward, making decisions about your inherited property. I really try to avoid using phrases like you should or you shouldn't, because every situation is unique. And if we haven't met yet, I don't know the details of what it is that you're going through. But I also don't steer clear of controversial topics. And today's topic is a controversial one. You already know from the title that we're talking about inheritance advances, sometimes called a probate advance or a probate cash advance. And by the end of this video, you'll probably know whether or not I think they're a good idea. If we don't know each other yet, I'm Lisa Kwashnick. I'm a realtor in the Sacramento area, and I teach people who have inherited real estate how to get the most out of their inheritance. Let's jump in. What is an inheritance advance? Simply put, it's an advance against assets that you stand to inherit. It allows you to receive a lump sum of money up front without having to wait until the probate process is completed. It's not a loan because you don't pay anything back to the lender directly, and you don't necessarily need to have good credit. Instead, the advance company makes a claim against part of the assets you are intended to inherit. An inheritance advance can be helpful when you need immediate funds to cover expenses like legal fees or property taxes or even personal needs. Let's break down how this works. Essentially, your interest in the estate acts as collateral. From the moment a loved one passes away and you're named as the heir, you have an interest in the estate. An inheritance advance company evaluates your anticipated inheritance and offers you a portion of it up front. And like I said earlier, this isn't a loan in the traditional sense. There's no monthly repayment, and your credit score doesn't affect your eligibility. So how exactly does this process work? When you apply for an inheritance advance, the company will perform a thorough evaluation. They'll look at the details of the estate, any wills or trusts, and any potential claims against the estate. And once they've determined the value of your inheritance, they'll offer you an advance. For example, let's say your parents leave you $100,000 in their will when they pass away. After probate fees and expenses are paid, you expect to inherit $90,000. But you need $25,000 right now to pay for your daughter's college tuition expenses. If you're going through probate, it's very likely you've received at least 10 letters from different companies offering you an advance on your inheritance. So in this example, you decide to give one of them a call. The inheritance advance company may request to purchase 30% of the inheritance, or $27,000. In the meantime, the company agrees to pay the $25,000 you need for your daughter's tuition in a lump sum to you. Once probate ends, the advance company collects the $27,000 it purchased and the $25,000 that was advanced to you from the estate, along with its fees. And any remaining inheritance money would then be paid out to you. These advances can be expensive because they carry a high risk factor for the lender. The probate process can be unpredictable. There can be delays and disputes and unexpected claims that can affect the value and the timing of the inheritance. And because of this risk, the fees for inheritance advances are generally higher than traditional loans. So what can you use an inheritance advance for? The funds aren't restricted to estate-related expenses. You can use the money for any purpose that suits your needs, whether it's paying for tuition, like I gave in the example, making home renovations, covering living expenses, or even starting a business. The choice is yours, and the flexibility of inheritance advances makes them a valuable option for many people. Here's the thing though, before you head down this path, consult with your probate attorney. The inheritance advance company will need to communicate with your probate attorney regularly. And I know attorneys who require the communication be directly between the attorney and the inheritance advance company rather than through a paralegal. And this this can cause you additional fees every time the inheritance advance company reaches out to your attorney and your attorney responds. If you have siblings or there are other heirs to the estate, you'll want to share this information with them too, just in case they're considering an inheritance advance. It's also important to note that there are inheritance advance companies that pay referral fees to attorneys and to agents. If your attorney or your real estate agent has given you the name of an inheritance advance company, it's okay to ask if they receive a fee for referring you to the company. There are times when an advance on an inheritance may be very helpful. For example, sometimes a child will quit work to become a full-time caretaker or an in-home support services provider for their parent. The advance may help them with moving expenses and carry them until they find employment. But I want to drive this point home. Read the fine print. The cost of the advance may also be on a sliding scale, so to speak. What do I mean by that? Well, it's possible that the advance company will charge you a set fee or percentage if the probate process is completed within 6 to 8 months. Then they'll charge a higher amount if the probate takes 8 to 10 months and an even higher amount if it takes 12 months or longer. Just keep all of this under consideration when you're calculating the risks and the rewards. If you can't tell, I'm not a big fan of inheritance advances, mainly because the cost is just so great. I'm really not a fan of many quick cash inventions. However, I do realize that there are times when there's a true need that is urgent, and this is an available tool if you feel you have no other options. What about you? What do you think about inheritance advances? Comment yay or nay below, and I'll see you in the next video.